Welcome to another interesting episode on Talk Your Mind. My name is Rita and Success, your number one host on Talk Your Mind. And Talk Your Mind is all about bringing to you different subject matters, ranging from politics, entertainment, lifestyle, education, and so on. Joining me today is the Lagos State House of Assembly member representing Ajeromi Constituency 2, in person of Honorable Akanbi Oluwa Sabur, aka Sabur. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, this is Talk Your Mind. Are you ready to talk your mind?
I'll try my best.
Because I'm looking forward to this interesting interview. So today we have it. And I believe the good people of Jeremy follow the local government are also expecting this video.
It's my pleasure to be here.
And congratulations once again for becoming the flag bearer of the All Progressive Congress for the second time.
Thank you.
And I pray you win.
Amen.
So now, before we dive into the questions for today, I want to ask, like I said, you have become the flag bearer of All Progressive Congress, and over the couples of years you have been in office, you've been doing tremendously well. Will you say that the All Progressive Congress, the APC, they have actually worked enough to come back 2027?
For me, elections, especially re-election, is a referendum on performance. The APC government obviously have done a lot of work and have had to take some very hard decisions. Some of those decisions obviously sort of have effects on everybody, from the rich to the poor. And some of these decisions are decisions that we have to pay, or we have to take, or the government had to take, because it will be saddening that a country like Nigeria, we've seen countries fail. We've seen countries like Venezuela, as rich in terms of natural resources like Nigeria, fail. And it's because of lack of focus and lack of that political will to make some very, very critical and strong decisions. The APC government have also tried to, make sure that the country is on the right trajectory. A lot of things have been wrong, and if we must...
sorry, sir. When you say the country is in the right trajectory,
yes,
do you think the Nigerian populace will accept this ideology that the country is in the right trajectory, following all what is happening in the country presently, the banditry, insecurity, corruptions, and the poverty rates increasing on a daily basis? And you say the country is in the right trajectory.
What I meant by the country is in the right trajectory is that, I'm not looking at it from just some of the angles. I'm looking at it generally. Firstly, if you must have a robust economy, there are certain decisions you must take, especially knowing that you have to attract people from outside. The economy must be in conformity with certain standards. Your currency must have its rate, its standard rate. It mustn't be fluctuating today, tomorrow, and also must have the right rate. Sadly, some of these decisions have affected some of most people back home, and I also represent one of the constituencies where we have people from mostly middle class to down the wrong, and every day we face some of these things. Well, as a political party and as a member of the All Progressive Congress, we cannot say that some of these policies are not necessary. Some of these policies are even sending us to a very deep hole. For instance, the issue of fuel subsidy. Fuel subsidy is meant to cushion the effect and also help mostly people in the lowest rung of the ladder. But obviously, so that most people at the top of the ladder are the ones benefiting, and mostly turn these things into a racket. And that's not the way to go. And that's why the government had to make that decision. Some of these decisions are decisions, that government, especially in a democracy like Nigeria, you have to solicit for votes from the people. And in situations where the people are not happy with the government, obviously they will not vote the government back in. But the government have been trying to see a way have been doing so much cushion effect from the state government to the federal government, even to the state government, the federal government, even legislators. Everybody is trying to see how we can, make sure that this effect is not felt. The brunt of this effect is not too harsh on the people.
All right, thank you very much. Let's talk about the Tolu complex rehabilitation now, because someone sent this message, and let me read it out so that people can hear. And it targets Tolu complex credits and conflicts.
Yeah.
It said the Tolu complex school was recently refurbished and is massively pride. Its massive pride is, however, related to your office. So now, but the project is a federal/state government intervention under the Special Committee of Rehabilitation of Public School, SCRPS, not a constituency project, as people commonly say that. It is your project, your office project. So now, when you campaign on the back of such project, are you technically taking credit for what you didn't do? What is your major take on that? Because that's what people are saying, that that's your project, your constituency projects.
Okay, firstly, there's nothing like constituency projects in Lagos State. We don't have that kind of provision. I know there are peculiarities in every system. For instance, in the federal parliament, I think they have a window for constituency projects where they fund some projects in your constituency. But the beauty about ours is that, we don't have constituency projects, but I can walk into any office, the office of the governor, the commissioner, and ask for certain things to be done. The project at Tolu School Complex is solely a Lagos State government project. And as I said earlier, that any project that comes to Ajurami through the state government can be credited to my office, because my office, I am the representative of the people of Ajurami in the government of Lagos State. And that is why it is not a constituency project, it's a state government project. But I played a major role in making sure that project come to fruition.
What about the Ajegunle stigma? I believe you know that
there is no Ajegunle stigma. I grew up, I was practically born, I grew up in Ajegunle, I work in Ajegunle, I go everywhere in Ajegunle, I work for the people of Ajegunle. So I don't think there's any stigma. I carry Ajegunle everywhere I go to. And there are people like Daddy Shoki and the rest, everywhere they go to, they talk about Ajegunle. Some people don't even know me when I'm on the table and they're from Ajegunle. Ajegunle is a thing of pride for some of us and most of us. And some of the things we learn from here, some of our experiences from here, you cannot buy with money.
Okay, let's talk about our council chairman. He'll be celebrating his 1 year in office probably in a month's time. Do you think he has worked very well in the last 1 year?
Okay, before I answer the question, I want you to know that, I clamor for synergy between everybody, apart from people in government, even private individuals that can do things for the community. I believe if there's synergy, the community will grow, there will be development. And from the time I started campaigning, I've said that the House of Assembly cannot do it alone. The House of Reps cannot do it alone. The governor cannot do it alone. The local government chairman cannot do it alone. But if we all, contribute our quota, work hard, things will be better. And I said, the local government chairman is trying his best. There are a lot of infrastructural developments springing up and there. There's a new hospital being built. There's a ICT center being built. There's the roads he's constructing. Rome was not built in a day, but I believe that by the grace of God, him going on this journey at this pace, in the next 4 years, in the next 3 years, when his tenure lapses, would have achieved a lot more. Some of the things I've said I've done in the last 3 years were not done after a year in office. It took a while. The school complex was commissioned not too long ago. I'd like us to still talk about some other things I've done. Sometimes when I speak like this, I just try to not talk about these things.
But we have to just talk about it.
I don't have a choice. I have to
because this is the media, so the media have to know what you've done so that they won't carry fake rumors around that. You need to talk about some of those things you've done as well.
I agree with you. My take about some of these things is that I'm doing my job really.
But some people are saying it in a different perspective. That
Okay,
you're not working.
I'm sure you've gone around the communities. You can see that most of the communities are being looted. I saw on your profile yesterday when your street was not looted. You said you complained. And my take about getting most of these streets looted is because basically I drive around at night and I see how dark it is. A dark community is a breeding place for crime, and also it kills the economy at night. And that's why I'm making sure that most of the streets and major roads in the community are lighted.
No, Honorable Sir, before I forget, as a lawmaker, one of the basic aggression of Ajigule populace is rent. Yeah, so what measure is the House of Assembly generally putting in place to ensure that we don't have outrageous rents, eating up everywhere in Lagos, not just Ajiro?
You want me to factor with you?
Yes, sir.
Some of these problems are problems that we have. They're more societal than something that the government can do so much about. There are laws, enabling laws in the land to regulate some of these practices. And the law says you cannot demand for upfront rent for over a year.
I know there are laws, but then the implementation of this law is now the problem. I know over the years the House of Assembly has been making laws, but those laws are not implemented.
Even right now, we are trying to reintroduce a new law to regulate that industry. But when I said let me be factual with you, let me now be factual with you. A lot of landlords who build their houses will say to you that the government provide us money to buy the reinforcement, that is the rod. Did you give us money to buy cement? And things like that. I know the government is working, especially the federal government. My office is still very small, seriously, to make sure that some of these building materials, the cost crash. I know that the federal government is also building a couple of estates. Majorly, the problem is housing deficit. But we can also talk to ourselves. You also have a platform to talk to the landlords and house owners. I see that there's a competition. Today you go here, the rent is 50,000. When you go there tomorrow, it's 60,000. You may even rent a house today. They tell you the rent is 300,000. Exactly. When you're about to renew, they tell you sorry, it's 500,000. Some of these decisions are solely made by the landlords, and we are not that kind of people in Ajegule. I know that when I was growing up, some people even lived in houses without even paying because we were one community.
Of course, yeah.
But over time, a lot of things changed.
A lot of things has changed over the years, yeah. So now, let's talk about. I'll come to this particular question I want to ask. That'll be the last question. But let's talk about the youths now. Yeah. I know you clocked 40 just last year, so we can say categorically say you are still.
Of course, I am.
So let's talk about the youth. What measures is the office or what plans do the government have for them? I know the government have been planning, but still the youth we're saying they say we are the leaders of tomorrow, but are we actually the leaders of tomorrow? Are we recycling the same set of people in power? So what's the plan for the youth in Nigeria?
You're not recycling the same people in power. I just got into government the last 3 years. But
we need more of you in government, more younger version of you in the government.
I agree with you, but let me not lose sight of your question. The problem generally is beyond my office, but my office is trying its best to, see how we can do things. In the construction of the Tolu School complex, I had to be strategic in thinking that should we spend this amount of money refurbishing the schools or building roads and other infrastructure? But for me, I'm a sucker for good education. I don't think any child without the right furniture, the right conducive environment will learn anything really. So that is why I was a champion in that Tolu School complex, comprising of over 30 schools, 36 schools to be precise.
Did you attend any of the school?
I did not.
I'm a product of Tolu complex anyway.
Well, so have you been there again?
Yeah, I've done my tour.
Have you gone there?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Is it what you used to have?
No.
Yeah, it's not right. Is it better?
Far.
So I have to think, the first way to empower the youth is to catch them young, get them educated. Education is the tool to empower the youth. There's no other tool. You need them to be enlightened, educated. And that is why the school complex was very much on my mind. And in getting that school complex to fruition, we had other opportunities. And one of the big opportunity we had is the construction of a vocational center there for students and residents of the area. I believe that not everyone will go to school. And if you all will all go to school, we can also have craftsmen within us. And we always have something to do with craftsmen every day.
Of course. I'm an artist, I understand.
Yes. So that is why that vocational center, the idea of having a vocational center was...
And also a fire service. That's really commendable.
So there's express constraint really in this constituency. It's more or less fully developed. And when the opportunity to have other additions to the school complex came, the vocational center, the fire station, the health center, the sports center, apart from vocation really, speaking of sports is also one area I feel we can engage the youth. Yes. And it has been an avenue for nurturing talents in Nigeria. Sports and entertainment.
But people complain that that sports center is not accessible for everybody. So why is it so?
They're still trying to find a way to, we cannot keep the doors open to everybody. I'm sure it will be handed over, or it has been handed over to the sports council to regulate people that will use it. If we allow everybody to use it even, how do you give them timing? Okay, you're going to use it for 2 hours, 3 hours. So people just dominate
one of my problems with government facilities is the maintenance, because I know the previous local government chairman created some other sports facilities across primary schools, and over before 2-3 years, it's all deteriorated because there was no proper maintenance. So is there any measure for maintenance for this? The Olu complex is looking very lit today. Will it be like that in the next 3, 4, 5 years?
You see, for me personally, I think that mostly government projects are our projects. I mean, when I say all of us. And when these projects are executed, first thing we need to do is to own them as our own. I see that mostly when people use government properties and things like that, we are very nonchalant about them. We feel that it's nobody's property. It's our property. So when we own them, we use them the way we should use them. I'm the representative of the area in the state government, for instance. I always go back to the state government every time we have anything for them to come back to do in some of the schools, the sports center, want them to, do for us. They'll come back and do it. But you need to know that anything that they do for us and we don't keep it properly, there is positive of funds. It's not some of the funds we are able to bring here to do some projects. Other areas still want it.
Exactly.
But thank God we are getting the attention we deserve.
Okay, let me ask this question. This is a general question that people ask outside. So as a media person, I feel it's our job to ask as well. So let's talk about the people believe the Oluwa family, just as you're part of the Oluwa family, they're untouchable, and they have the final decisions in the local government, as the case may be. And some people go as far as saying that College Road is the bodilum of Ajiromi for the local government. So just one more like that. What do you say about that? I know you're not expecting that question.
Okay. Every political party has a leader, and leadership does not fall in anybody's lap. It is that people must have seen the quality in you, and it's a responsibility. I come from a service family. You see that in the last from when I was very young, I have always known that, I've always seen that people in my family try to, want to serve the people. I've had my uncle be local government chairman. My father was the chairman. I'm a member of the House of Assembly. I'm the third. No, I'm not the third. My grandfather was a councillor in the Lagos City Council. So we come from a line of people who, anytime, any day, we are ready to serve. And it's not something you can buy. It's not something you can just dabble into. It's either you want to, and people see the quality in you, and fortunately, and as it is, my family, we're from here. This is our own foundation, our credo, really. So there's no way you want to talk about the area, you not talk about my family. But have we been very accommodating? Have we been very good to the people? It's for everybody to, judge. However, look at the area, for instance. We have a lot of people from everywhere in the area. We own the land in the area, and we've given it to people, sold to people that are not Oluwa from anywhere. We don't care where you come from. As long as you're a good person, we'll give you a parcel of land, build your house. Let's live, together. So that explains the kind of family I'm from. It's just but natural sometimes to have opposition to how you function sometimes. But I must say that my family have been very good. We have we've been serving, just like I'm serving now, the people for such a long time. And the only reason why someone will say Rabia Adio Crescent, College Road, is the body of Ajurami is because the apex leader of the ruling party, which is the APC, who happens to be my father, lives there in this same area. It's not like he cannot afford to live somewhere else. But he resides, since I was born, we've resided in the same address, the same place for over 40 years. And, we've lived with people. Most of this part of this area, got developed right in my own eyes. And if we have been accommodating to people from everywhere in Nigeria, the world, it tells the kind of family we are. So I would say it's
to be a multicultural. We have a lot of different tribes. That's a good one. Yeah.
That speaks to something, doesn't it?
Exactly.